So I've got a problem, and no, it's not with drones, but it's with these hedges in the boundary. They are pretty massive and overhang around 10 feet or so at its widest into the garden. So I called my friendly neighborhood tree surgeon, and he had a look and replied back saying that it would be around 350 pounds. What? 350? Well, I replied back saying that I would get back to him, and... So obviously, as you guessed from the title of this video, the solution is to get a chainsaw. Now this is no ordinary chainsaw, but one of the cheapest in the UK market. It's an electric chainsaw, so no messing around with petrol, choke and all that. Obviously it has a lead attached to it, but it's a perfect choice for a small garden, or so I hope. This, as you might know, is a Screwfix own brand. The other Titan tool that I have is that electric planer, and works reasonably well. Now let's take a quick look at the saw. This is a spiked metal bumper. It's handy to stop timber getting pulled into the saw. This also has a safety chain brake. It activates pretty quickly in like 0.1 seconds. This is where the chain lubrication oil is poured. This trigger also has got another safety button over here. This is to prevent accidental starts. To fit the chain bar, unscrew the nut holding the chain cover. Use the provided spanner for that. Use the spanner's other end, which has a flat head, and loosen the chain tension screw completely. Put the chain on the bar and pay attention to the direction of the chain, that is the sharp cutting width pointing forwards. Now I wouldn't lie, but this step is a bit fiddly. Slip the bar over this bolt. The most important part here is to make sure that the bottom locking pin locks on the bar, and guide the chain over the metal sprocket. Next, tighten the chain tension screw. Now put the cover back on, but do not fully tighten it yet. When you check the chain's tension, you may see that it's pretty loose now. Titan recommends a gap of only 5 mm or less. So now tighten the chain tensioner screw again until it's pretty taut and pretty tight like this. And also note that because the chain is brand new, it will stretch a bit, so it is recommended to tighten the chain again after 5 minutes of use. Well, I guess it's time to start this for the first time. Let's take a look at the sensitivity of this chain safety lever. A slight touch to this and it will break the chain automatically. Also, when you release your finger from the trigger, the brakes engage at the same speed. Pretty useful for a newbie. And talking about newbie, always wear proper safety gear when using a chainsaw. I got this kit from Amazon. The box contains of a helmet with ear defenders and a visor shield, and some instructions. Next is a pair of high quality leather chainsaw gloves. The one on the right hand is slim and the dexterity provided is excellent to hold on to the trigger of your chainsaw. However, the left hand side is heavily padded on the top. This is to protect your fingers if at all there was an accident. Next in the kit is this universal fit chainsaw chaps. This, as you already know, is to protect your legs, especially your thighs. If there's one thing you can take from this video is to make the safety investment. It is a pretty good insurance option considering that the alternative is that if at all there was an accident, you could easily gash through your thighs and cause heavy blood loss. Or you could even lose your fingers in a split second. This is serious stuff. You can look online for this kit or its equivalent. Amazon was the cheapest and I have affiliate links below. To get used to the saw, the first thing I'm going to do is trim the small tree trunk. Not this one, this is a new Norwegian maple that I just planted. It's this one. And the width of the branch is only around 6 centimeters. Well, that went surprisingly quick and it wasn't so scary as I thought. After that, I went ahead trimming that tree and got used to the chainsaw. Now back to the main reason why I bought this. once again that went really well. I started making some progress and pretty soon the garden waste started building up. At this point, I would like to say that there's a big note on the instruction manual saying not to use a chainsaw on a ladder. It's obviously a health and safety thing, so do your own research and make your own judgment call if you're attempting this. Do not be a statistic and only cut things that you're comfortable with. And whatever you do, never overreach or stretch out to cut a branch. If you have to do this, even if it is that one last tiny branch, just climb down, move the ladder to the nearest and safest position, and then do the cut. So I was pretty much busy the entire evening, and the next day morning, this is not that shabby, but the job's done. All the overhanging branches have now been removed. It's now time to cut the fallen branches to smaller manageable pieces so that I can just dump it in the nearest garden skip. Well, here are my thoughts on this. Well, if you remember at the start of the video, the initial cost of trimming this boundary by a professional was around 350 pounds. This chainsaw cost me 50 pounds and add an additional 90 pounds for the chainsaw protection gear. So with just one weekend's use, the boundary hedges is now trimmed. The tool and the gear has already paid for itself with around 200 pounds savings to boot. And the saw is really easy to use. So as you had seen before, the automatic quick braking, the small chain size that avoids kickback, and the general no-nonsense aesthetics means you can also give this a go. Even though it's no Husqvarna or Stihl in terms of build quality, I can genuinely recommend this for a beginner like me. So please hit the like, subscribe and comment. You have been wonderful, I'm Suj and see you in another video. Bye.